Speak, ladies and gentlemen. There is a kind of power that does nandapos need to speak loudly to be noticed. It does nandapos demand attention, yet attention naturally follows it. It is nandapos built on beauty, status, money, or popularity. It comes from something much deeper. It comes from the way you carry yourself, the way you think, the way you respond to pressure, and the energy you bring into every room you enter. Many women spend years trying to fit in, hoping to be accepted by everyone around them. But there comes a moment when you realize that true strength is nandapos, about being liked by everyone. Itandapos, about becoming so authentic that the right people are drawn to you, while the wrong people quietly distance themselves. A powerful aura is nandapos, something you create overnight. Itandapos, built through every challenge you andapos have survived, every lesson you andapos learned, every tear you andapos hidden, and every decision you andapos made to keep moving forward, even when life gave you every reason to quit. People can feel your energy before you say a single word. Some will admire it, some will feel inspired by it. Others will misunderstand because your confidence reminds them of the fears they have in andapos conquered. Your peace exposes their chaos. Your discipline exposes their excuses. Your self-respect reminds of the boundaries they never learned to set. The truth is, powerful women are often misunderstood. The andapos are called intimidating when the andapos are simply confident. The andapos were labeled cold when the andapos were protecting their peace. The andapos were accused of changing when the andapos were simply growing. Never shrink yourself to make insecure people comfortable. Never dim your light because someone else refuses to shine. You were never created to blend into the background. You were created to become a source of strength, wisdom, and inspiration. Your aura becomes powerful when your actions match your words, when your confidence comes from character instead of attention, and when your happiness no longer depends on someone else's andapos approval. Today, we andapos, we're going to explore 13 unmistakable signs that your aura is stronger than you realize. These are nandapos, signs to become arrogant. They andapos, reminders that your greatest strength is being unapologetically yourself. Because when a woman truly knows who she is, the world cannot ignore her presence. Long before you introduce yourself, people begin forming an impression of who you are. It is nandapos, always because of the clothes you wear, the words you choose, or the achievements you and apos have collected. It is because of the energy you carry. Presence is one of the most powerful forms of communication because it speaks without making a sound. A woman with a strong aura does nandapos need to compete for attention or demand respect. She naturally earns it through the calm confidence she brings into every environment. There is a quiet strength in someone who knows exactly who she is and does nandapos feel the need to prove it to anyone. That kind of confidence cannot be purchased, copied, or faked for long. It is developed through experience, self-awareness, and the courage to remain authentic in a world that constantly encourages people to wear masks. When you are comfortable with yourself, your body language changes. You stand with purpose instead of hesitation. Your eyes reflect confidence rather than doubt. Your movements become intentional instead of restless. Even your silence carries meaning because it is no longer filled with insecurity. People notice these small details, even if they cannot explain why they feel drawn to you. Human beings naturally respond to energy. They are influenced by your attitude before they are influenced by your words. If your presence reflects peace, strength, and self-respect, others will sense it immediately. Many people believe that being powerful means being loud, outspoken, or constantly trying to dominate conversations. In reality, true presence often appears in quiet confidence. Speak. Speak. The strongest woman in the room is rarely the one trying to convince everyone of her worth. She listens carefully, speaks thoughtfully, and remains composed under pressure. She does nandapos. Interrupt others simply to be heard because she understands that value is nandapos, measured by volume. Her confidence allows her to wait, observe, and respond with wisdom rather than emotion. A powerful presence is also built through consistency. When your actions consistently match your values, people begin to trust what they see. You become someone whose character speaks louder than promises. Integrity creates an energy that others respect because it is increasingly rare. When people know that you are honest, dependable, and genuine regardless of who is watching, Your reputation begins entering rooms before you do. Opportunities, friendships, and respect often follow because people feel safe placing their confidence in someone whose actions reflect their words. Your presence is shaped by the battles Yuandapos fought in private. Every disappointment Yuandapos have survived, every fear Yuandapos overcome, and every lesson Yuapos have learned leaves its mark on your character. Difficult seasons teach patience. Failure teaches humility. Heartbreak teaches resilience. Instead of allowing pain to harden you, you choose to let it refine you. As a result, your strength becomes calm rather than aggressive. You no longer react to every criticism or seek approval from every opinion. That emotional stability becomes one of the strongest signals of inner power. People with negative intentions often react differently to a strong presence than those with good intentions. Honest people feel inspired because your confidence reminds them of what is possible. Insecure people may feel uncomfortable because your self-respect exposes the limits they place on themselves. You cannot control how others interpret your energy, and you should nandapos waste your life trying to make everyone comfortable. Your responsibility is to remain authentic, respectful, and grounded. The right people will appreciate your presence because it encourages them to become stronger versions of themselves. The greatest mistake many women make is believing they must constantly seek validation to be valuable. They think they have to explain every decision, justify every success, or earn everyone Andapos's approval before feeling confident. But true presence is born the moment you stop asking for permission to be yourself. You begin trusting your instincts, honoring your values, and walking your path without fear of constant judgment. That freedom transforms the way you carry yourself. Instead of chasing acceptance, you become someone who attracts respect naturally. Your presence is ultimately a reflection of your inner world. If your mind is disciplined, your heart is grateful, and your character is strong, those qualities become visible without a single word. Every room you enter becomes an opportunity to demonstrate that real influence comes from authenticity, emotional maturity, and unwavering self-belief. While beauty may capture attention for a moment, presence leaves a lasting impression. Long after people forget the conversation, they will remember how you made them feel, because genuine strength always speaks before words ever do. One of the clearest signs that your aura is powerful is that not everyone feels comfortable around you, and that is not something to fear. Many women mistakenly believe they must be liked by everyone to be successful, respected, or worthy. The truth is exactly the opposite. When you begin living with confidence, integrity, and purpose, your presence naturally creates different reactions in different people. Those who are secure in themselves will appreciate your strength, while those who are battling their own insecurities may feel uneasy without fully understanding why. Your energy becomes a mirror, reflecting what already exists within the people around you. Speak. A woman who knows her worth does not seek constant approval. She doesn't change her personality to fit every room she enters or lower her standards to avoid making others uncomfortable. She understands that authenticity is more valuable than popularity. This kind of confidence is uncommon, and because it is uncommon, it often surprises people. Some will mistake your self-respect for arrogance. Others will confuse your quiet confidence with pride. In reality, you are simply refusing to apologize for becoming the person you worked so hard to become. Your boundaries are another reason some people struggle to feel comfortable around you. There was a time when you may have said yes to everything just to keep the peace. You tolerated disrespect because you feared rejection. You stayed silent because you didn't want conflict. But growth changes you. As your confidence grows, your standards become clearer. You begin protecting your time, your energy, and your emotional well-being. You no longer allow manipulation, dishonesty, or negativity to have unlimited access to your life. People who benefited from your lack of boundaries may not celebrate this change. They may call you difficult, distant, or different simply because they can no longer control you. There are also people who feel challenged by your discipline. Your commitment to personal growth reminds them of the promises they have broken to themselves. Your consistency highlights the excuses they continue to make. Your courage to pursue your goals exposes the fears that continue to hold them back. None of this is your responsibility. You are not making them uncomfortable on purpose. Your life simply demonstrates what is possible when someone chooses responsibility over excuses and action over hesitation. At the same time, your powerful aura attracts the right people. Genuine individuals are inspired by your strength instead of threatened by it. They celebrate your success because they believe there is enough success for everyone. They respect your boundaries because they understand the value of healthy relationships. They encourage your growth because they are committed to growing themselves. These are the people who belong in your life, and your authenticity makes it easier to recognize them. One of the greatest lessons you can learn is that rejection is not always a sign that something is wrong with you. Sometimes rejection is simply proof that you are no longer willing to settle for environments that limit your potential. As you become stronger, certain friendships, conversations, and habits naturally fade away. This process can feel lonely, but it is often necessary. Growth requires space, and that space is created when you release what no longer aligns with the person you are becoming. It is important to remain humble while embracing your strength. Having a powerful presence does not give you permission to look down on others or believe you are better than anyone else. True confidence is rooted in humility. It recognizes that everyone is fighting battles you cannot see, and that every person is on a different stage of their journey. Your goal is not to intimidate people, but to remain true to your values regardless of how others respond. Kindness and confidence can exist together, just as strength and compassion can walk side by side. The moment you stop trying to make everyone comfortable is the moment you begin living with greater freedom. You understand that your purpose is not to shrink yourself to fit someone else's expectations. Your purpose is to live with honesty, courage, and integrity. Some people will walk away because your light exposes what they are unwilling to face. Others will step closer because your example gives them hope. Either way, your responsibility remains the same. Continue becoming the woman whose character speaks louder than opinions, whose peace is stronger than criticism, and whose authentic presence leaves a lasting impact wherever she goes. One of the strongest signs that your aura has become powerful is your willingness to protect your peace without feeling guilty about it. There was a time when you may have believed that saying yes to everyone was kindness, that tolerating disrespect was patience, or that sacrificing your own well-being was the price of being accepted. But experience has taught you something different. Real peace is not something you accidentally find, it is something you intentionally protect. It becomes one of your greatest priorities because you understand that without inner peace, it is difficult to think clearly, make wise decisions, or become the woman you were meant to be. Protecting your peace does not mean shutting people out or becoming cold. It means recognizing the difference between relationships that help you grow and relationships that constantly drain your energy. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your time, your emotions, or your attention. A powerful woman understands that every conversation, every environment, and every relationship either adds strength to her life or slowly takes it away. She chooses carefully because she knows her energy is valuable. She no longer feels obligated to entertain negativity, gossip, manipulation, or unnecessary drama simply to avoid disappointing others. Many people struggle to understand this change because they were comfortable with the version of you that never set boundaries. They appreciated the woman who always agreed, always gave more than she received, and rarely spoke up for herself. The moment you begin protecting your peace, some people may accuse you of changing. In reality, you have changed, but not for the worse. You have grown. You have learned that kindness should never require self-destruction. You have realized that being available to everyone often leaves you unavailable for your own dreams, health, and happiness. One of the greatest forms of self-respect is learning to say no without explaining yourself endlessly. Every time you decline an invitation that doesn't align with your priorities, every time you walk away from disrespect, and every time you refuse to participate in unnecessary conflict, you are choosing peace over pressure. You are reminding yourself that your value does not depend on pleasing everyone around you. Your confidence comes from knowing your priorities and staying faithful to them, even when others disagree. Protecting your peace also means guarding your mind, the words you listen to, the content you consume, and the people you allow to influence your thinking shape your perspective every day. A woman with a powerful aura understands that negativity is contagious. Constant criticism, fear, comparison, and toxic conversations slowly weaken confidence and steal joy. Instead of allowing these influences to dominate her life, she intentionally fills her mind with wisdom, encouragement, gratitude, and purpose. She understands that a peaceful mind creates a powerful life. Another important part of protecting your peace is refusing to carry burdens that were never yours to carry. Many women spend years trying to fix everyone else's problems while ignoring their own emotional needs. They become exhausted because they believe they are responsible for everyone else's happiness. But maturity teaches you that you can love people without carrying the weight of every decision they make. You can support someone without sacrificing your own emotional health. Compassion does not require you to lose yourself. There will always be people who misunderstand your boundaries. Some may call you distant because you no longer answer every message immediately. Others may think you are selfish because you choose rest instead of constant availability. Some may even feel offended because they no longer have the same influence over your life. Their reactions are not a reason to abandon your growth. Boundaries often reveal who respected you and who simply enjoyed having access to you without limits. True peace also gives you emotional control. Instead of reacting to every insult, every rumor, or every opinion, you learn to respond with wisdom or remain silent when silence is the stronger choice. You realize that not every battle deserves your attention. Some arguments are distractions disguised as opportunities. A woman with a powerful aura understands that protecting her energy is more valuable than winning every disagreement. She chooses clarity over chaos, patience over impulse, and purpose over unnecessary conflict. When you protect your peace without apologizing, you are not building walls to keep love away. You are building healthy boundaries that allow genuine love, respect, and trust to flourish. Your calm spirit becomes your greatest strength because it cannot be easily shaken by criticism, negativity, or the expectations of others. You no longer seek permission to honor your well-being. You simply recognize that the strongest version of yourself is the one who understands that peace is not a luxury. It is a necessity, and it is always worth protecting. True confidence is one of the most powerful qualities a woman can possess because it influences every area of her life. It is not about believing that you are better than everyone else. It is about knowing your value without needing constant approval from others. When your confidence comes from your character instead of compliments, from your discipline instead of attention, and from your purpose instead of popularity, it becomes impossible for the opinions of others to define you. This kind of confidence naturally inspires some people while making others feel uncomfortable. The difference is not in your attitude, but in the mindset of those who observe you. People who are secure in themselves often see your confidence as proof that personal growth is possible. They admire your willingness to speak with honesty, make difficult decisions, and remain true to your values. Your example encourages them to believe they can become stronger as well. They understand that confidence is not something you were born with, but something you developed through challenges, failures, and countless moments of choosing courage over fear. Instead of comparing themselves to you, they allow your journey to motivate their own. At the same time, not everyone will respond this way. Some people may mistake your confidence for arrogance because they have never experienced healthy self-respect. They are used to seeing confidence expressed through pride, ego, or superiority, so when they encounter a woman who quietly believes in herself, they struggle to understand it. They may question your intentions, criticize your decisions, or try to minimize your achievements. In many cases, their reaction has very little to do with you and everything to do with the insecurities they carry within themselves. A confident woman does not waste her energy trying to convince everyone that she is worthy. She understands that confidence does not need constant explanation. She walks into a room without feeling the need to compete for attention because she knows her value is not determined by who notices her. She speaks with purpose instead of trying to impress people with unnecessary words. She listens with respect because confidence does not fear other people's opinions. It welcomes learning while remaining secure in its own identity. Confidence also changes the way you handle challenges. Instead of viewing obstacles as reasons to quit, you begin seeing them as opportunities to grow. Every setback becomes a lesson instead of a life sentence. Every failure becomes valuable experience instead of permanent defeat. This mindset creates resilience, and resilience is one of the most attractive forms of strength. People notice when someone remains calm under pressure, keeps moving after disappointment, and refuses to let temporary circumstances define their future. Your ability to stand back up after every fall becomes a silent message that encourages others to do the same. One of the greatest signs of genuine confidence is humility. The most confident women rarely feel the need to boast about their accomplishments because they know that success speaks for itself. They celebrate others without feeling threatened because they understand that another person andaposes. Success does not reduce their own opportunities. They encourage, support, and uplift instead of competing unnecessarily. Their confidence allows them to build relationships based on respect rather than comparison. This quiet strength earns admiration because it reflects emotional maturity rather than insecurity. Your confidence also gives you the courage to make decisions that others may not understand. You stop living according to expectations that were never meant for you. You pursue goals that reflect your purpose instead of chasing approval. Some people will admire your independence, while others may feel challenged by it because your willingness to follow your own path reminds them of the dreams they abandoned. Again, their discomfort is not evidence that you are doing something wrong. It simply shows that authentic confidence often shines a light on what others have chosen to ignore within themselves. As your confidence grows, you become less interested in proving yourself and more committed to improving yourself. You recognize that the greatest competition is not with another woman, but with the person you were yesterday. Every day becomes another opportunity to grow in wisdom, discipline, kindness, and courage. This mindset creates lasting confidence because it is rooted in progress rather than perfection. You no longer fear criticism because you know your identity cannot be built or destroyed by someone else Andapos's opinion. When a woman Andapos' confidence is grounded in integrity, compassion, and self-respect, it becomes a force that cannot be easily shaken. It inspires those who are ready to grow and intimidates those who are unwilling to confront their own limitations. Yet she continues walking her path with grace, knowing that her purpose is not to make everyone comfortable, but to live authentically, encourage others through her example, and remain faithful to the woman she has worked so hard to become. Every powerful woman has a story that the world cannot fully see. Behind her confidence is a collection of battles that tested her strength. Behind her calmness are moments when she questioned whether she could keep going. Behind her wisdom are countless mistakes that became valuable lessons. Character is not built during the easy seasons of life. It is forged during the moments when everything seems uncertain, when dreams fall apart, when relationships end, and when the future looks impossible to understand. The woman you are today is not simply the result of your successes, but the product of every challenge you refused to let define you. Life has a way of revealing who we truly are. When everything is going well, it is easy to believe we are strong. Real strength is discovered when life removes comfort, certainty, and control. It is in those difficult moments that your character begins to grow. Every obstacle asks an important question: will you allow this experience to break you, or will you allow it to build you? The answer to that question shapes your future far more than the obstacle itself. Strong women understand that while they cannot always control what happens to them, they can always choose how they respond. Pain has the power to transform a person. It can create bitterness, or it can create wisdom. Speak. The difference lies in the attitude you choose every day. Some people allow disappointment to convince them that life is unfair and that giving up is the safest option. Others decide to learn from every setback, using each failure as another step toward becoming stronger. A powerful aura is often the result of choosing growth over resentment. Instead of carrying the weight of every painful memory, you carry the lessons those experiences taught you. That shift changes everything because wisdom weighs far less than regret. Challenges also teach patience in a world that celebrates instant success. Difficult seasons remind you that meaningful growth takes time. There are moments when your efforts seem unnoticed, your progress feels slow, and your goals appear distant. During those times, character is developed through consistency rather than recognition. You continue showing up even when no one applauds your discipline. You continue believing even when the results have not yet appeared. This quiet determination becomes part of who you are, shaping a confidence that no temporary failure can destroy. Every challenge also strengthens your resilience. Resilience is not the absence of pain, but the decision to keep moving despite it. It is waking up after disappointment and choosing hope over despair. It is trusting that today's struggle does not have to become tomorrow's identity. Every time you recover from heartbreak, rejection, failure, or loss, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your circumstances. That realization becomes a source of confidence because you no longer fear every obstacle. You know that if you survive the last storm, you can survive the next one as well. Difficult experiences often refine your priorities. They teach you that time is precious, relationships matter, and inner peace is worth protecting. Things that once seemed important begin to lose their influence over you. The desire to impress others fades, replaced by the desire to live with purpose. You stop chasing temporary validation, because challenges have shown you how quickly external things can disappear. Instead, you invest in qualities that cannot be taken away. Integrity, wisdom, compassion, discipline, and faith in yourself. Challenges also deepen your compassion. When you have experienced pain, you become more understanding of the struggles others carry. You learn that every person is fighting battles that may not be visible on the surface. Rather than judging quickly, you choose kindness. Rather than assuming weakness, you offer encouragement. This combination of strength and compassion makes your character even more powerful, because true greatness is measured not only by what you overcome, but also by how you treat people along the way. Perhaps the greatest lesson challenges teach is that your identity is not determined by your circumstances. Failure does not make you a failure. Rejection does not make you unworthy. Loss does not erase your purpose. Every difficult season is temporary, but the character you build through it can last a lifetime. Each obstacle becomes another piece of the foundation upon which your future is built. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who was defeated by life's hardships, you begin to see yourself as someone who was shaped by them. That perspective transforms pain into purpose and struggle into strength. When people encounter a woman whose character has been refined through adversity, they notice something different about her. She carries herself with quiet confidence because she knows what she has survived. She remains calm during chaos because she has faced storms before. She speaks with wisdom because her words have been tested by experience. Her strength does not come from having an easy life, but from refusing to let a difficult life steal her courage. Every challenge has left its mark, but instead of leaving scars that weaken her, they have become reminders of the resilience, integrity, and unshakable character that now define who she is. One of the greatest signs that your aura has become truly powerful is that you no longer live for the approval of others. There was a time when you may have measured your worth by how many people accepted you, praised you, or agreed with your choices. You may have hesitated to speak your mind because you feared criticism or changed your dreams to fit someone else's expectations. But real growth begins the moment you realize that a life built on approval will never bring lasting fulfillment. The opinions of others change constantly, but a life guided by purpose remains steady through every season. When your purpose becomes stronger than your desire to be liked, your confidence reaches a level that cannot easily be shaken. Living with purpose means knowing who you are and understanding what truly matters to you. It means making decisions based on your values instead of your emotions or the pressure of the crowd. A woman with purpose does not wake up each morning wondering how she can impress people. She wakes up asking herself how she can become a better version of herself, contribute something meaningful, and stay faithful to the life she believes she is meant to live. This shift changes everything because your energy is no longer wasted trying to satisfy everyone around you. Instead, it is invested in becoming the person you were created to be. Purpose gives you direction when life becomes confusing. There will always be voices telling you what you should wear, how you should behave, what career you should pursue, or what success should look like. If you try to follow every opinion, you will eventually lose your own identity. But when your purpose is clear, outside opinions lose much of their power. You listen with respect, but you are no longer controlled by the expectations of others. You understand that advice can be helpful, but your life is ultimately your responsibility. That realization gives you the courage to make difficult decisions even when they are unpopular. A woman who leads with purpose is not afraid of standing alone. She understands that the right path is not always the most crowded one. Sometimes following your calling requires walking away from people who no longer support your growth. It may require leaving comfortable situations, ending unhealthy relationships, or taking risks that others cannot understand. These choices are rarely easy, but purpose gives you the strength to continue because you know that temporary discomfort is often the price of long-term fulfillment. Leading with purpose also changes the way you define success. Instead of chasing recognition, you focus on creating value. Instead of comparing your journey to someone else's, you concentrate on making progress one step at a time. You celebrate your achievements with gratitude, but never allow them to become the source of your identity. Your confidence comes from the knowledge that you are living according to your principles, not from the applause you receive. This creates a deep sense of peace because your happiness is no longer dependent on external validation. Purpose also teaches patience. Meaningful goals rarely happen overnight. There will be moments when your efforts seem unnoticed and your sacrifices feel invisible. During these seasons, people who seek approval often become discouraged because they expect immediate recognition. A woman with purpose continues moving forward even when no one is watching. She understands that discipline is more important than applause, and that lasting success is built through consistent effort rather than temporary attention. Her motivation comes from within, making her far more resilient than someone who relies on praise to keep going. Another powerful quality of purpose is that it inspires others naturally. You do not need to convince people to respect you when your actions consistently reflect integrity, compassion, and determination. Your life becomes an example that encourages others to pursue their own dreams with courage. Some people will admire your dedication because it reminds them of what is possible. Others may feel uncomfortable because your commitment highlights the excuses they continue to make. You cannot control either reaction, and you do not need to. Your responsibility is simply to remain faithful to your mission while treating everyone with kindness and respect. Living for approval often leads to exhaustion because you are constantly changing to meet the expectations of different people. Living with purpose brings freedom because your decisions are rooted in principles that do not change with public opinion. You stop seeking permission to pursue your goals. You stop apologizing for setting healthy boundaries. You stop explaining every choice to people who were never meant to direct your life. Instead, you move forward with quiet confidence, trusting that every step taken with integrity brings you closer to the future you are building. A woman who leads with purpose rather than approval carries an undeniable presence because her strength comes from within. She is guided by conviction instead of popularity, by character instead of comparison, and by a vision that remains steady no matter how loud the opinions around her become. Here is a strong, inspiring ending that matches the tone and style of your speech. As you leave today, remember this: your greatest power is not found in how loudly you speak, how many people admire you, or how much attention you receive. Your greatest power is found in the woman you become when no one is watching. It is found in your courage to stand alone when necessary, your wisdom to protect your peace, your strength to rise after every setback, and your commitment to live with purpose instead of seeking approval. Not everyone will understand your journey, and not everyone is meant to. Some people will celebrate your growth, while others will question it. Do not let either response determine your direction. Keep becoming the woman who walks with confidence, speaks with integrity, and leads with compassion. Let your actions tell your story louder than your words ever could. Never shrink your light to make others feel comfortable. Never apologize for setting boundaries that protect your future. Never doubt your worth simply because someone else fails to recognize it. The world does not need another person trying to fit in. It needs women who are courageous enough to be authentic, resilient enough to overcome adversity, and confident enough to inspire others through the example of their lives. So stand tall, trust yourself, embrace every lesson, every challenge, and every opportunity to grow. Your aura is not powerful because of what you possess. It is powerful because of who you have chosen to become. And when you continue choosing character over comfort, purpose over approval, and courage over fear, there is no limit to the impact you can make. The strongest woman in the room is never the one seeking attention. She's the one who knows her value, protects her peace, lives with purpose, and quietly changes the world simply by being unapologetically herself.